Hey everybody, I'm Ellen Canner. I'm an award-winning author and I'm excited to show you my brand new book, Miami Vegan, plant-based recipes from the tropics to your table. It's got 80 sun-drenched recipes that are really going to give you a taste of the tropics. It's full of the Latin and Caribbean flavors that make Miami so dynamic and exciting. It looks beautiful and happy when it's surrounded by tropical produce. It's going to be happy in your kitchen too. Fun fact, as I explain in Miami Vegan, all this stuff is fruit. Some of it you know is fruit, but like jalapeno, yeah, botanically speaking, that's fruit. I think that stuff is cool. That knowing a little more about where your food comes from, its origins, that makes the food more delicious. So that's what I want for Miami Vegan. And I have a couple sections throughout 305 that give you, 305 is Miami's area code. So that gives you kind of inside taste of what Miami is like. As a food writer and a culinary instructor and a recipe developer, I think food is more than dinner. It's about culture, it's about community, it's about sustainability, it's about wellness. I think all that stuff is very exciting and you can bring that to the plate. I'm a 5th generation Miamian and a long-time vegan. The big reasons people go vegan are animal welfare, personal health, and sustainability, which matters a lot in Miami, where we stare climate change in the face every day. They're all great reasons, but this is what I've learned. You have to convince people by offering fabulous food. Miami Vegan aims to prove skeptics, and I know you're out there, that plant-based isn't bland, isn't boring, and it won't leave you hungry. Brimming with bold Latin and Caribbean flavors, fresh tropical produce, and beloved dishes reflecting Miami's delicious diversity, Miami Vegan aims to make it easy to love plants, and doable recipes let you taste Miami wherever you live. I want you to taste every recipe, but until that happens, we'll have to start with this virtual presentation. We're going to start with dessert, or breakfast. In Miami, Guava cream cheese pastries are both. They're a sweet way to start the day, especially with a cafecito or Cuban coffee, but they're fun to munch on anytime you're in the mood. That's why I have the recipe in a section called bocaditos, little bites. We have no set mealtime in Miami. We tend to eat later, but we like to graze, and Guava cream cheese pastries are good any time of the day. They're a little sweet from guava, a little creamy from vegan cream cheese, and a little crunchy from the puff pastry. Think of them kind of like the Latin version of peanut butter and jelly. There's just a few ingredients, but they matter. Frozen commercial puff pastry is a game changer, but read the label and make sure it's vegan. Dufour, which all my chef friends love, is all butter, so way not vegan. Pepperidge Farm is vegan. And I know there must be other brands out there, but this is pretty easy to get. Vegan cream cheese can vary in consistency and flavor depending on the brand. Save the spreadable creamy ones for something else. A soft one will ooze when baked. Go for the thickest, firmest, truest tasting vegan cream cheese you can find. I've been using Violife, but if you have a brand you work with that you like, I'd love to know about it. Love to try it. Okay, the slightly tricky bit is working in this little bit of powdered sugar into the cream cheese. The powdered sugar isn't just for extra sweetness. Powdered sugar, as you guys probably know, contains a little cornstarch, which keeps it light. It also provides a little oomph and structure for the vegan cream cheese. Once it's all together and nice and fluffy, pop it into the freezer if you can for a few minutes while you do the rest so it can firm up. Okay, on to the guava. Guavas can be round or oval and can range in color from white to purple. They've got a mild flavor And when you bring one to your nose, they're kind of perfumey. They are a tropical treasure. We love them here. So do insects. Fruit flies and little white worms. I don't know what they're called. I just don't want them in my guava, and neither do you. Cook the flesh down with sugar, like making cranberry sauce. Strain out the seeds, and you've made jelly. Keep cooking it down and reducing, and one step beyond jelly is guava paste. It's guava and sugar cooked down to their essence. You've also probably made a mess in your kitchen. I have a solution. Guava paste. It's sold commercially, it's shelf stable, so it's always in season, and it's insect-free. Guava paste is sold in Miami grocery stores in brick form and available in Latin and other specialty markets and online. Guava paste can be sticky to work with. One little trick is to dip your knife into hot water between slices. For this recipe, slice it thin. Speaking from experience here. I made these for Easter, but I looked at my own recipe in Miami Vegan and thought, nah, I'm gonna add more guava paste, more vegan cream cheese, and I did. And I had ooze. They were delicious, but they were not pretty. Okay, the puff pastry doesn't need to be rolled out super thin. Just flatten and stretch the sheets out a little bit. Cream cheese from the freezer, and spread the cream cheese on one puff pastry sheet. Now fit 16 thin slices of guava paste on top. Cover with the second puff pastry sheet and fit everything into place. Without slicing all the way through, score the pastry into 16 pieces so each has some guava paste, and add a few extra slashes to vent the pastry. Puff pastry likes it cold, and that can be a challenge in Miami kitchens. So if you have time, pop the baking sheet in the fridge for half an hour or so to chill and firm up. When you're ready to bake, preheat your oven to 400 degrees. The cold pastry meeting the hot oven is where the magic happens. They bake for half an hour or so until they're puffed and gorgeous and golden and your kitchen smells like butter. You may still have a little ooze, but you can trim them up when you slice them. You can see where I've scored the pastry, and they slice apart nicely. I love the sound of that crunch. I have a small kitchen, so I'm gonna let these cool, but before we move on to our second recipe, Fireworks Black Bean and Mango Salad, I need to clear the decks. There, that was exhausting. Okay, Fireworks Black Bean and Mango Salad. I created this recipe a few years ago for a friend's 4th of July party. I wasn't planning to, but she called me that day. And I said, hey, really looking forward to seeing you later. And she said, hey, I just realized we don't have anything vegan we're serving. Great. Well, I wasn't going to brave the grocery store on 4th of July, so I did what I always advise people to do. I used what I had. Black beans. I prefer cooking dried beans from scratch, and I did for this video. They cook up creamier with a richer flavor, but you know, sometimes you're tight on time, and I was. So I used canned black beans. You can too. I always have cans of beans around during hurricane season because you never know when you might lose power. Can't say enough good things about beans. They're the original plant-based protein, they're high in fiber, and they're so versatile, taking on the flavors they're cooked with. So we start with black beans in a bowl, and we add celery. I love celery. It's crunchy, it's got bracing, astringency, and salinity. It's where aromatics and vegetables meet. What I don't love? Food waste. So if you come away with only one thing today, it's that you should use the celery leaves. They're soft, you don't have to worry about celery strings, and the flavor is just like celery in high D. Dice the celery and red pepper, so they're about the same size as the black beans. They offer flavor, crunch, and a pop of color. It's a pretty fireworks-like effect. That's why I call this fireworks black bean and mango salad. And now the minced jalapeno. Chile adds a little fireworks to your salad too. And my dears, after chopping chilies, wash your hands, wash your knife, wash your cutting board. Not joking. Stir all this together. Add the cumin. It's an earthy spice used a lot in Latin and Caribbean cooking, plus a little sea salt. You can stop there until right before serving, or even make it a day ahead and keep it covered and refrigerated until you need it. The beans absorb the spice, that's the beauty. Now we add the mango. As with the guava, you want the inside, not the outside. I just discovered there's a gadget called a mango peeler. Do you use one? I am not terribly gadget happy, so I use a knife. Stand up your mango, score it into fourths, grab a flap of the rind at the top, and tug, and the skin peels right off. We're coming into mango season here now, and eating a ripe, fresh, juicy mango right off the tree is one of the joys of living in Miami. For everyone, not just humans. Birds, squirrels, and iguanas love mango too, and might get to the fruit before you do. This is nature. We all have to live together. I'm vegan, right? I love animals. I'm not going to fight with my friends here. Listen, there is enough fabulous mango for all of us, and you don't even have to live in Miami. Just get them from Melissa's. They're super. There's something like 1,000 mango cultivars. Melissa's has some of the best, including much prized honey mango. All mango has a long, hairy pit in the center. You want to avoid that with your knife. But if you're not being filmed, slurp on the pit to get all the sweet, juicy goodness. People have been doing it for generations. It's nature's lollipop. Squeeze some lime juice into your beans. This, as you can see, is not the same as a Persian lime. It's smaller, round, more yellow inside, and more tart than a Persian lime. This is a true key lime. It's indigenous to the Florida Keys. It's the lime we like to use for key lime pie. And yes, Miami Vegan has a vegan version and it's terrific. Key limes are available from Melissa's. I like this salad because it's easy to make and it's naked. It doesn't have a dressing, doesn't have any oil. The mango and lime offer a bright tropical flavor with enough juiciness to infuse the beans and the vegetables and hold everything together naturally. Finish with the fresh chopped cilantro, unless you hate cilantro, so leave it out, and taste again for salt. When you get it like you like, you can either serve it on a bed of greens or mix the greens in. That's my preference. I'm using some peppery arugula here. The greens keep everything light, and I'm always eager to get greens into people. They're so good for you. Finish with a sprinkle of toasted pumpkin seeds. They're good for you too. High in zinc and a nice source of healthy fats. With each bite, you get tender, earthy black beans, sweet, juicy mango, tart lime, sweet and hot peppers, soft, fresh greens, and buttery, crunchy toasted pepitas. It's a no-cook wonder that can sit out on a picnic table for hours without wilting. With beans and grain salads, their flavors bloom when they're not icebox cold. Will be more fun for you closer to room temperature. Fresh mango is fabulous, but frozen and thawed works too. You can also make it with papaya or orange in place of the mango, so it's accessible for just about everyone. And Melissa's Produce has all of it. Fireworks black bean and mango salad is great right out of the bowl, but you can also plate it up pretty. Spoon it into half an avocado or papaya once you scoop out all the glossy black seeds, or spoon it into tortillas and give your Taco Tuesday a little tropical flair. The guava pastries don't need anything fussy, just set them out on a plate and watch them disappear. A big thanks to Melissa's Produce for letting me give you a taste of Miami vegan, plant-based recipes from the tropics to your table. And a big Miami thanks to you. Wishing you all things delicious.